Hey friends, back with you for the second time this week, and really glad to see the response we're getting from our fireside chat series. Thank you for your questions. I will be joined by our very own KP again. I'm working her hard this week. So we'll answer more of your questions that we were prepping toward last time. I'm going to bring KP on camera, and but she'll pop in here with us. So I wanted to tell you guys a couple of things. One thing is that we have, there's my friend. Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, thank you for joining in. Working you hard this week.
Happy to do it. I always like to talk shop.
You're my guru of all things staffing and enrollment. So thank you for joining. I was just about to tell our friends that we have officially scheduled a 2021 shift conference. We're really excited about that. We made the not so tough decision, honestly, to not try to do it in person in February for the health and well-being of our friends. And also that we feel like so much of what we do is bring people together in a meaningful way. And it just did not feel to us like we could do that virtually. We did do our One Day Thrive event virtually this year, and that was fantastic. And we may even keep doing that because we were able to reach people faster and less expensively for our guests. So put October 6th through the 8th, 2021, Newport Beach, California, on your calendar. We all are very optimistic that by the 1st of October next year, we are going to be able to see you guys, put our hands on you, and really have some meaningful conversations. So we're really excited about that. So thank you for joining, KP. I want to start with a great question we got on Monday. So to recap, our first fireside chat was everything financial with our very own Rusty Bailey, our company financial analyst. He had some great insights. KP joined me on Monday for everything staffing, and tonight we're going to tackle some enrollment questions. But KP, right at the end of Monday night, someone asked a very important question, which was, how do we do all these great and wonderful things with our staff without the enrollment? So we have a kind of chicken and egg thing going on here. So talk to us a little bit about it.
I mean, that's a $64,000 question. Is we're committed to high quality care. We're committed to nurturing and supporting our staff and keeping them healthy and safe, as we are with the children and the families. And so, I mean, I think it's kind of what we're inspired by this year is, how are we reinventing and reimagining ourselves? It's this great time to just reset what we're doing and think outside of the box. And maybe go back to some original things that worked for us. So there's no right answer. Some of it actually has to do with your demographics. It has to do with your city. It has to do so much with your state. I mean, I'm actually located in California at this moment. And oh my gosh, in like 3 days from going out of my house normal, well, the new normal, to the latest, it's, massively different. And so, the good news about that is we're all in this together in terms of our clients. They get it. They get that what we're struggling with. And as long as we're articulating to them, here's what we're working on, just try to keep, whatever form of communication you have going with your parents right now. Here's what we're doing. Our goals remain being safely open, adding quality care, maybe adding some new elements outdoors, because we know about being outdoors is much safer for children in terms of, open space and lung development. Of course, COVID is a respiratory type disease. So just articulating. But, I'll try to talk a little bit. The specific question tonight has to do with part-time care, and it's all related. I mean, Kathy's the guru nationally on this. If you ask no one else in early childhood a question, Kathe Ligon is the person you want to ask, because no money, no mission. If we're not being really fiscally responsible, I'll raise rates if I have to deliver the best quality I possibly can. I'll do my very best to be fiscally and financially responsible with every penny. And, and that goes to that trust and that core value and culture that you've got. And I know if you're watching this, you care about that. And, our clients do. You want me to start the question?
Yeah, so let me hit you with a question. And there's so many layers of this, Kathe, and I love for you to hit your high spots because there are always a lot of jewels in there. So the question is, what are some ways to encourage families to come back full time? So that is quite an issue, and I know that people have been super flexible in order to support families and do what feels good to them. But financially, that's really a drain. It's very hard on our staff. It's hard on the children. So talk to us a little bit about some strategies to encourage families to come back full time.
I'd like to have a conversation with you about this because I think I'm an owner operator still and part of the Hinge team. And the thing is, we're not going to win every battle right now. It's sort of like, win the war. The war is we want to be back up and running better than ever, the way we reimagine ourselves. So we might have to bite the bullet financially a little bit, or we might have to bite the bullet on maybe not fixing our roof right now, or, something that was in our wish list. We just need to reimagine what is our new normal and how can we get back better than before. So that would be the first thing, is let go of some expectations and sort of reframe where you're going. It's always, and I love how Kathe says this, and I agree completely. What's best for children is how we frame all of our answers. So what's best for children is we're open and we're not going to close for 2 weeks. Or if we do, we've got the communication in place that we don't miss a beat. Our protocols are in place. Our parents know, oh, COVID case, that means maybe a room's closing, maybe it's closing for a day, maybe a staff has to be out and quarantine, which goes back to the other night's fireside chat, which was being overhired. So that when and if that happens, and if it hasn't happened to you yet, good for you, but don't get complacent about it either. It hasn't happened to me yet either, but it could. So that's the first thing, is kind of letting go of that expectation. The second thing is, and I like this question, and sometimes I like to question the question, what's wrong with part-time? So I was talking to one of my favorite people in the whole world this afternoon, and I was picking her brain, and I actually asked her some of these questions. And it's Alita Mechtel, who is a very close colleague of mine. And the first thing I would say is get a peer mentor. If you've got somebody in the industry, and Hinge is great, I'll be your peer mentor, I would love it. We've got plenty of people on the team that could help you. But if you've got somebody that you can honestly run things by, that could help you look where you're missing something, your blind spot, that's the first thing. And so I talked to her and I said, oh, I'm answering this question tonight. How would you answer it? And hers was awesome. She said, I think there's nothing wrong with part-time care. Part-time adds confidence for parents. Part-time is a really good way to test out your protocols for COVID. You can make sure that your staff aren't overworked quite as much. And so what Kathe Ligon would say, I'm talking about you, but you're right here, is make sure you're pricing up on your part-time. The suggestion Alita had, and I love this, it was really push your drop-in care. Drop-in care is a really good way to grab clients that maybe they're in those Facebook mommy groups. I'm looking for childcare, where should I go? And instead of having to fully dive in, head first, leaving their baby or their 2-year-old, dropping in, pricing it accordingly. And then, this is the key thing, and I love this, and I do this too, is appreciating your staff and giving them a little extra for those extra kids in the room. So one thing she does, and I got permission to share this, one thing she does is, for instance, if you've got part-time, 2 days, and you're working to get them to go to full-time, the teachers are the key heavy lifters. They're doing the work. We think we're doing the work, the teachers are doing the work, guys, and we know that. So she's giving $100 per extra day. So if a parent is enrolled 2 days full-time, and that teacher is rocking that 2-year-old classroom. And they decide to go 3 or 4 or 5 days full-time, that teacher immediately gets a bonus on adding. So now you've got, your parents are happy, the teacher's giving extra oogle google mother goose care because, you know, they're getting something, they're being appreciated for it. But most important, and always most important, is what's best for the children. They're slowly integrating into your program, and they're going to have a lot of success that way. Parents are going to be much more confident. So first thing is, there's nothing wrong with part-time care. It is a great springboard to our success. But you got to price up. You got to be really careful with communicating. And then when those bumps happen, you know, because part-time care is harder. It's more children to manage in a classroom, especially a toddler or 2-year-old room. Pre-K is a little easier, I think. And then the other thing is, and this is what we talk about a lot, which would be servant leadership. And that would be, what does the parent need? What does the parent need? What is their pain? Holy moly, guys, there's a lot of pain right now. First of all, they're not in their routine. And I don't know about you. I know Kathe and I are both routine gals. We like our structure. We like to know planning our week, planning our day. And we don't have little kids anymore. So these parents that have little kids, maybe elementary kids or middle school, oh my gosh, doing like middle school math? Holy smokes. And then they've got a little preschooler. So the problem is, that's their pain. They are doing everything they can. They are giving their all for their family. And so their pain is they're out of their routine. Their pain is they're not probably as successful at work, or at least maybe they are, but they're not feeling as successful and productive. Who doesn't love to check off everything on their list or complete their week, you know, feeling productive? So it's really hard. But then they also have that fear about their children. So when their children aren't in school, think about, a toddler or a 2, they're missing that initial social interaction with children, with other peers. They're missing forming trusting bonds with teachers besides mommy, daddy, grandma, grandpa. And then, you know, you think about a pre-K child, they're not getting fully prepped for kindergarten. And we think we do that very, very well in our industry. So, you know, they're missing self-help skills. So if you can frame it to the parents that way and say, you know, if you need us part-time, full-time, we're here no matter what you need. We are here sincerely wanting to be a part of your life and ease some of your stress. I think that's a huge piece. And that goes back to servant leadership or just what are your core values? Are you here for the families? Because if you do that, they're going to be loyal. Now, back to the full-time question. And I think, honestly, the first thing about the full-time question, and I'm watching my time, Kathe, is that first things first. You got to make sure you're articulating that you're open and you're safe. Maybe you're going to say, and I wrote this for anyone watching and happy to jump on a call as well. But if you can say something with Facebook, Instagram, whatever your CRM, you know, constant contact, however you're articulating to your parents, your day notes, potential customers and current customers. We're safely open and following best practices for early childhood programs as designated by our local health department. And it's really good if you know the name of your health official that you work with closely. I've got a guy that I work with in our Charlottesville Health Department. If we've got a quick question, I know his first and last name and I know his cell number. So if you can say we're working with so-and-so from our health department, that's kind of brownie points because it shows that you really are sincerely working and you know, they're on your speed dial. Then you can say, we're, you know, and recommendations as set forth by the CDC. We can't wait to welcome you and your child to our program. Or if you've been lucky enough not to have a COVID case, you can also say we've been successfully open without a COVID case. These are the protocols we're following. And I've got to finish up. Then I would do an offer. First of all, our loyal patrons, our loyal clients deserve our best first. So the current families, either you do some type of referral bonus, maybe it's $1,000 tuition credit. Maybe you can take it after the family has been with you, the new referral for a month. maybe you just bite the bullet. Again, biting the bullet, we don't have the perfect answer. We are going to suffer a little financially short term, but not long term. So offer the same to everyone in your email group or your CRM group that, hey, we're open, we're safe. We'd love to have you check us out. We are willing to offer the biggest, best, juiciest offer you can come up with. And then don't forget your staff. I referred back to what Alita's doing when she has her staff help transfer drop-ins or part-time to full-time. I'm doing a full room bonus for my staff. So when they're at a certain level, we know they're working extra hard. So give them a little extra. Some people are doing hazard pay. Some people are doing, I don't like attendance pay this time of the year or this time of our life for COVID because I want people that are ill to stay home. And then this is the other sweet sauce idea. Have teachers, the beloved teachers in the rooms, follow up with your email, calling those parents, especially of the former children coming back, calling and checking on little sweet pea. I mean, that's so authentic and very successful. It's sort of a 1-2 punch, like put out the offer, but then make it sincere and with a lot of, nurturing and integrity.
Right. So, if I were to wrap a bow around that, I think I'm hearing you say flexibility to meet needs, communication about what you're doing, and generosity with your parents and your staff. And I'll add to the communication piece, we all love seeing the 2 vaccines that were recently announced, but also the Yale University study that came out several weeks ago is a great addition to your family communication. To attach a copy of that article, if you need it, reach out. The article did a study from March to June, I think, and they followed child care centers and found out that children in child care centers did not create a bigger risk for COVID than the general population. So that was great news for the industry. KP, thank you so much. We will be back with you guys next week. I think we're framing up some communication about sources for grants and ancillary revenue. We know that a lot of people have done a lot with grants and maintain stability because of that. So we want to give you some great places to go and look for additional revenue resources. So we'll see you next week. Take care and be well, friends.
Bye, everyone.